We live in a knowledge economy and information society. It is vital that the African continent begins to steer its people towards e-learning. This has been described as the tool that bridges not just the digital divide, but is the key in raising the profile of the continent.
What happens in education is that we have to move according to the trends. So the curriculum developers, the publishers are also moving towards those trends. Yes, that we are not left behind. So what has been happening is we've been having electronic books in electronic format, what is now called digital publishing.
Though still a new concept in Kenya's schools, experts realize the merits of e-learning and are keen to push the education system to incorporate it into the school syllabi.
The benefits of e-learning are many because with the advent of computer, the mobile phones, the internet, what's happening is that people can access the book, through their mobile phone. They can access the books through computers in their offices, so they don't have to carry, a physical book like this one.
Already strides have been made in the e-schools initiatives, with efforts by the government and various private sector players encouraging digital learning in Kenyan schools. This is also set to boost learning in the rural areas through provision of laptops, an initiative that's down on paper but yet to be piloted.
What we're trying to do in Kenya, in conjunction with the Ministry of Education, is to create what we call a Schools Technology Innovation Center. So this is a center that will be hosted by the Ministry of Education. And in that center, we will showcase with the rest of our partners what kind of technologies can be used in education to make learning, teaching, and administration of education much easier, so that students can learn much faster, teachers can be able to have more time to be able to research, and administrators can be able to manage the schools and universities much more easier than they do now.
The e-learning in Kenya has started picking off, and so far we have a number of institutions which are trying to offer the e-learning courses in partnership with other institutions, for example like Cisco.
Such a transformation could place Kenya right at the center of growing technology changes, which is built to become the next frontier for economic growth.
I think government has already done a lot of work in the ICT sector by creating the policies, the strategies, the required bills to unleash the potential in the ICT sector. I think now, as I said, we're in a process of implementation. How do we take advantage of all these benefits that have been enabled through a more open ICT space, so to speak? So the investment in all the infrastructure that's happening, the investment in power, that's key. All this will help in encouraging more and more use of ICT and investment in ICT.
Production of the digital content for use in schools is currently underway, but with all the controversies surrounding it and the issues of security and piracy of the publishers' work makes the efficiency of the system questionable, and the challenge now is on the government.
KIE, which is our curriculum developer, our national curriculum developer, have developed a digital curriculum. And so far, from the submissions we've been making to KIE, because books are supposed to be vetted by KIE, whether they are electronic books, digital books, or whether they are printed books. But so far, the problem we've been having and the collision between KIE and publishers has been that what KIE considers a digital book is not necessarily what we consider a digital book. According to the publishers, a digital book should be different from a printed book. But according to KIE, when you send for submission, books for submission, they want just a soft copy equivalent of the printed book. But a digital book should have animation, should have videos, to make it interesting and even more interactive. A digital book should be not in a PDF, should not be in a PDF, but should be interactive. So that has been the bond of consultation between the publishers and KIE.
But the question still remains. Will computers completely eliminate human instructors and other forms of human delivery in time to come?
No, as I said, it will be a blended system. So we'd say as a student, if I register in university, in my lifespan in that university, probably 40% of the time I will be in class physically, listening to a teacher. 60% of my time I probably be listening to the same teacher through videos and studying on my own using learning management system. So it will be a complement. Now it depends on the level of investment the university decides to invest in e-learning, but it will be a percentage. It will not totally eliminate the experience of being in a classroom.
Kenya has made remarkable progress putting in place an ICT policy framework and implementation strategy. However, inadequate funding, poor infrastructure, lack of access to electricity, and limited internet access in rural areas are some of the major problems facing the development of ICT and e-learning in Kenya.
Proposition, definition.
Education is the biggest spender of the national gross domestic product, and still it is grappling with serious quality concerns. As the country braces for the shift which promises to change the way learning takes place in schools, there is need to urgently sort out these challenges first.
The governments should provide incentives, especially when it comes to the importation, that is taxes, importation of computer components, softwares. The use of the internet. They also need to look at the legislation in terms of pricing, because we have internet in Kenya and actually in Africa being very expensive, So the governments in place should be able to look at these matters so that they can be able to improve the infrastructures so that we can get cheap internet, we can get cheap hardware components and software.
There is also need to attract foreign investments to plug in financial shortfalls in ICT developments, and e-learning has huge potential of attracting direct foreign investments.
Universities are opening branches in every town. But the key challenge in the higher education sector is where you're going to get more lecturers. So there needs to be e-learning will help complement and have a, so to speak, a blended learning solution where you have teachers or lecturers, but in some cases you also have e-learning materials using e-learning tools. So that is a key area of investment.
It is only by sorting out the current problems that any new initiatives, including e-learning, can work effectively. Focus now shifts on the government, with industry observers keen to see whether they'll move in to address these problems for a sustainable implementation of ICT in education.